Okay. Notice that the very first thing says solve this triangle. So I want to make sure that we are all clear on a couple of things. First of all, these are degree measures, so let's make sure our calculators are set in degrees. They were just set in radians, so let's switch them over, make sure they're in degrees, because these are degree measures. Secondly, just some general knowledge. When triangles are labeled, we use capital letters for the angles and lowercase letters for the sides. So if you see a capital A, this says find A, and it's a capital A, that means you are finding angle A. If it says find A, and it's a lowercase a, that means you are finding side A, okay? When you label the triangle, where you put the angles doesn't matter. So I have CHS, okay, fine. That automatically means then that this is side C, this is side H, and this is side S. When the sides are labeled, they are labeled across from their respective angles. Okay, so opposite them. So if this is angle S, that has to be side S. Got that? Okay. When we say solve a triangle, what we mean is find everything that we don't know. So you will always know 3 things, and then you will have to find the other 3 things. So we did that before, but they were right triangles. So the tools that we had at our disposal were the Pythagorean Theorem and SOHCAHTOA. Those will not work on this triangle. You cannot use the Pythagorean Theorem unless the triangle is a right triangle, and there are no 90s in that picture. You cannot use SOHCAHTOA because when you write the word SOHCAHTOA, isn't it SOH? And what does H stand for? Hypotenuse, which you can't have if you don't have a 90-degree angle, right? So the things that we've been counting on, we can't use. They're wonderful, they're awesome, but you can't use them unless you have a 90-degree triangle. So, a great tool that we have at our disposal when triangles aren't right, or even when they are, is something called the law of sines. Now, the law of sines is very, very easy to use. It is a proportion. It's everyone's favorite thing in the whole wide world. It looks like this. For this triangle, the sine of C over side C equals the sine of angle H over side H equals the sine of angle S over side S. So in other words, the ratio of the sine of an angle and its side is constant. So sine C over C is exactly the same as sine H over H is exactly the same as sine S over S. Now notice, the ratio is not 45 over 3.7. It's sine 45 over 3.7. Okay? So there we go, sine 45 over 3.7. Now, what do you think I'm going to set that equal to? Sine 60 over C. See how that works? Now, we'll cross multiply like we always do. So C sine 45 equals 3.7 sine 60. And then this is my variable, so I'll divide by sine 45. And then I'll go to my trusty calculator, which I have changed to degrees, hopefully. So 3.7 sine 60 over sine 45. And that will give me side C. Little caution, when you type 3.7 sine 60, it's going to put parentheses here. Make sure you close those before you hit divided by. Sine 45. So I got 4.53. Did you? Okay, we're getting close. Remember, solving the triangle means find what you don't know. So now we know side C. All right, where do you think we'll go from here then? Read.
Would you just add the two angles and then minus them by 100?
We would definitely know what angle H is because we know these two, well, I don't even need a calculator. These two add up to 105. So this one has to be 75, right? So that's easy. Don't even need any trigonometry for that one. And now the only thing left is side H. What do you think? Yeah, what do you think I'm going to do to get side H? Exactly. And Grace, you're right. We're going to use the match that we started with, because if we use this match, I rounded that off, didn't I? So that'll throw things off just a little bit. If I have to use that one, I will, but since I've got this match already, and I love that word match, because in order to use the law of sines, you have to have what Grace calls a match. That is, you have to have an angle and its side. Sometimes we call them pairs. One of my classes just a couple days ago called them partners. You have to have the angle and its side in order to do the law of sines. Okay, so let's go ahead and set that up like Grace said. She said sine 45 over 3.7. This time, what will that equal? Sine 75 over h. And then we do exactly the same arithmetic. We're going to cross multiply, divide. So it looks like h equals 3.7 sine 75 over sine 45. Is everybody okay with that? So that answer is, don't forget to close the parentheses after the 75 before you hit divided by sine 45. 5.05. Everybody good? That's easy. We love our law signs. We love it. Okay, let's look at problem B. Now, the only thing different about B is I didn't draw the picture for you. So you're on your own to draw the picture. So it looks like we got triangle CHS again. And where you put the C and the H and the S is irrelevant. Just put down CHS. You know angle C is 40, and you know angle H is 30. Now we also know that side H is 10.8. Side H has to be right here. Does everybody see that? Wherever you put your H, if your H is over here, that's fine. Then your 10.8 is going over here. The order of the three letters is not important where you put them, as long as you have the sides lined up with the right angles. All right, we're solving this triangle. I need to find side S, I need to find side C, and I need to find angle S. Well, angle S is going to be easy. What is angle S? 110? Because the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180. Now, do I have my match, as Grace said? Do I have a match? I have a match. It's right here. So that gives me my first ratio, sine 30 over 10.8. Now, what's that going to equal? Sine 40 over C is perfect. Could somebody else say sine 30 over 10.8 equals sine 110 over S? In fact, you're going to have to do both. And the order you do it doesn't matter, but you're going to have to do both because that's how we're going to find those sides. All right, go ahead. Type that in or set that up, cross multiply, divide, and see if you can come up with answers to that. I know what you're thinking. This 40's got to get harder than this. You're going to find a way to make this harder. No, I'm not. This is it. This is the law of sines. It's so easy to use. It does have one tricky little thing to it. We'll talk about tomorrow, probably. Tell me when you get the sides. Tell me what you get. Come up with C or S? That's what I got, 13.88 for C, perfect. Anybody not get that? Okay. How about S? Anybody come up with an S?
It's walk back in.
20.30? Yep, that's what I got for S, 20.30. All right, are we all okay with that? Is there anybody, everybody's got that? Okay, well, luckily there's one more, so we'll practice one more time. See if you can draw your triangle and label everything in the right places. Remember, where you put your CH and S doesn't matter, but make sure that side S is between C and H, because side S has to be across from angle S. So, I can see people typing away already. What are you typing? What are you doing? You already have your ratios set up, or are you doing something else? Figuring out that that's 79. And that's a pretty important thing for us to figure out, because isn't that where I'm going to get my match this time? So sine 79 over 19.1. Sine 53 over C. Okay, guys, yes, the lights blinked, but I think we can still do math. All right, tell me when you got an answer. Anybody get a C value yet? What'd you come up with?
For H, I came up with 14.46.
Yep, H, is 14.46, perfect. Remember, the order you find these doesn't matter. You gotta set them both up and solve them both.
I got 15 by 5.
That's what I got too. Okay? So we're all, you know, getting to be professional law science people, right? I mean, it's pretty easy. Now, I want to call your attention to something. The triangle that we have right here, the given information was the 53, the 48, and the 19.1. So in geometry terms, that is angle, side angle, right? An angle, side angle is a congruence postulate. You used it in your proofs all the time back in geometry. Now, the one we did before that, we knew this angle was 40 and this angle was 30 and this side was 10.8. That's called angle, angle, side in geometry, right? Now, the issue comes up. I said there's one little kink with the law signs, and that is with a triangle, like on the next page, where the information looks like this. Now, this is triangle B and C and probably A or something, I don't know. But I want you to look at that information. Okay, remember, we just looked at an angle, side angle, and an angle, angle, side. What's this one? Side, side angle, and I'm glad you said it in that order, because if we did it in the other order, remember, bad word, that's the way your geometry teacher told you. You can't, ASA is fine, AAS is fine, ASS is not fine, right? What is going on when you have angle, side, side is, you might have a triangle. You might have two triangles, and you might not have any at all. So when it says how many triangles are possible, the answers are going to be 0, 1, or 2. This angle side side is called the ambiguous case. The ambiguous case, because ambiguous means fuzzy, don't know, undetermined, and we don't know by looking at it. Now, when somebody gives me side angle side, I'm good. But when they give me angle side side, I have some work to do. Could I set up the law of sines on this problem? Do I have a match? If you have a match, you can always set up the law of sines, okay? So let's set up the match. Sine 82 over 17. What will that have to equal? Sine C over 15? Wouldn't that be your proportion? Okay, that's all good, that's fine, we can still cross multiply. So 17 sine C equals 15 sine 82. Now, this is your variable. This is your variable, okay guys? Not C, sine C. So when I divide, I'm going to divide by 17. So sine C equals 15 sine 82 over 17. I'm solving the triangle, which means I really want to know what C equals. This is a decimal. This is point whatever. That is not the answer to the question. How am I going to find angle C? Second sign, exactly. You're going to second sign this fraction. And it looks bad when you write it, but you just type it in exactly that way. So second sign, 15 sine 82, close parentheses. Always close the parentheses before you hit divided by 17. Did you get 60.9 basically? Okay, now let's talk about this for a minute. When you do that, when you type this in on your calculator, one or two, there's only two things that are gonna happen. One of two things is gonna happen. You're going to get an answer, which you got, it's 60.9, or it's gonna come up with an error message. If you type this in, and it comes up with an error message, that means you have no triangles possible. Okay, it's gonna be real clear, it's gonna say error, and you say, oh, okay, I can't do this problem, there's no triangles. If you get an answer, like we did, then you are immediately over to the side, you're going to draw another copy of the triangle you started with. So you started with the 82, the 15, and the 17. Start with that same triangle. And if there is another solution, because there can be two, this angle will be the supplement of this angle. It never varies. So if this one is 60.9, then the other one has to be 119.1. All right, so one more time. Set up your law of signs. You're going to have to second sign, because your variable is sign C. If you get an answer, then you're going to immediately check for a possible second answer. If there is a second answer, it will be 180 minus the first one. So that was 60.9, this is 119.1. Then you stand back and say, okay, is that possible? Can you have an 82 and 119 in the same triangle?
No.
No. So this time, there is one possible triangle.
So how did you find the 180 again?
Always 180 minus the first one.
180 minus 60.
180 minus the one you have on your calculator. Never looks up on your calculator. Listen, before you pack up, wait.
I already had it.
What if, when I did all the arithmetic, and I got whatever I got here, and 180 minus it was, let's say 90, or 91. Would that triangle be possible? Yes, and so then I would have two solutions. All right, well, we'll do more of these. There's a couple more there. We'll do more next time.